Hey, it's Brad from the Next Button, and I wanted to give you a little overview here. This is the Traktor Kontrol S4 unit, and so this is just a little walkthrough video for you. Not going to go into a whole lot of details here, simply because trying to play this and record it at the same time is going to be a little bit difficult. But essentially, like I have said in the review, you have four sections. So this is one of your play and record sections, and we'll get into button function here in just a minute. And then across the middle, you have a 4-deck mixer with all of your levels. And then on the other side, of course, you have your other play and control channel. So let me fire this up here and see if you can see the lights, which are pretty cool, I have to admit. So fire it up and you get a nice little light show, which unfortunately, because it's bright in the room, doesn't come through on this video real well. So let me kind of show you some functions here. As you can see, I have Traktor Pro version 2 point something running on the Mac here. And essentially everything in this, I mean, since it is a MIDI controller, you know, if we go in here and we twist this knob, you'll see that it corresponds right up here to this knob. And same thing with all the rest of them as well. So as I'm twisting knobs around, I am changing effects parameters right there. And that's exactly what you would expect it to do. I mean, it is a MIDI controller. If you're familiar with how MIDI controllers work, they are hardware controllers for software that runs on a computer. And that's, you know, not going to be any surprise to you. So functions, I mean, the thing feels incredibly nice. It is probably one of the better feeling controllers as far as build quality is concerned that I've ever used. And I've used a lot of them over the past few years because I've been really trying to become more accepting of these. So let me kind of walk you through here. Across the bottom here, of course, you have sync, play, and cue, which do exactly what you would think that they would do. So you play a track, bring up some volume here, and as you can see, got a track playing in the background now, right there. So since I have this up, this then becomes my master. It is the first one that I did. And so then if I want to come over here on the other side and turn this down just a touch, as you can see, that's 124.96 beats per minute. So my other track is 123.55. Well, if I hit the sync button, it suddenly becomes 124.96. So essentially what it does is it takes the concern out of the question about having to beat match your tracks. Arguable whether or not that's a really good idea. Some of the purist DJs in your world will probably say, no, that drives them insane. I'll get into more later about why I think it's perhaps not such a bad idea. So anyway, as this is playing, what I can do then is come down here, and then on the beat, I can just mix in the next track. And then there you go. We have two tracks playing in perfect sync, and I can adjust those slightly if I need to. Your jog wheels here give you a pretty hefty amount of function. I mean, it operates just like a turntable with a slight press. So if I press, then you can see that I get I get the jog wheel function to act like a turntable. Outside of this outside of the wheel gives me a slowdown and of course a speed up as well if I need to sync up two tracks a little bit more accurately. So that's, you know, kind of your overview function of how your play control works. What I really do like about this and what has set this thing apart for me is the sample decks. So 1, 2, 3, and 4 here correspond to 1, 2, 3, and 4 right there. And you can fire those off and load those pretty much on the fly, which is really, really handy. It essentially allows you to remix tracks on the fly. You have 4 hot cues, which you can assign yourself, and so those are really handy as well. Loop section here allows you to automatically loop a track. So if we bring volume back up, you can see that right now I have it set for a 32-beat loop. We'll knock that down and call it like a 4-beat loop. And so then if I hit this button, what you'll see right up here is it automatically loops the track for me. So again, it becomes an arguable thing as to whether or not that's a really good idea. I can control both deck 1 and 2, or rather A and C, off of this one side. And in order to do that, all I do is come up here and I hit the deck C button, and then it tells me that I am controlling deck C, which in place of those 4 sample decks, I can actually create a second play deck there as well. So that's another really handy feature, allowing you full 4-deck control off of a single controller. Your section right here is all of your browse section, which this is something that I have become a really big fan of. What Native Instruments has done is essentially taking everything hands off of the computer, allowing it to all be controlled from the mixer itself. So like this is my browse function, and you can see there that I can go through and select tracks and see which ones I need to, which ones I want to put up. And once I get to the right one, I just hit the load button over here, and I can load the track directly in and start it playing. I can change, whether it's a snap, a master, a quantize on the frames. I have a loop recorder here where I can record loops in real time off of a microphone input, or any external input, as well, as this thing does have line level externals, which are really handy. Size, record and play right there. And then if I hit this browse button, what it does is, as you can see here, it gives me a really big overview of all of my tracks, as opposed to just having a few of them right there in front of my face. So that's kind of your overview for you. We'll get into more details in the review itself, but I just wanted to show you what you were looking at here. It is the Traktor Kontrol S4 from Native Instruments, and you can read all the rest on thenextweb.com/gadgets.